are engaged in the same subject matter. The sunshine, the sun disk, and the inner affairs of the sun planet cannot be separated from one another, and yet the students of three different phases are not in the same category.
Stop there. Okay. Okay. So what do you understand from this?
It's like there's three different levels to the sun, just as with Krishna you have, or God Krishna, you have different levels where Krishna can take Vishnu form, he can take Ram form. And each level, it goes from lowest, you can go to lowest to highest.
No, let's be specific. What are the three different levels? You can see the sun planet.
The sunshine, the actual planet itself, and then I'm missing something.
It's the Brahman, the Paramatma, the Bhagavan.
No, that is the comparison. Sunshine. But I'm talking about the sun. What are the three aspects of the sun?
So the
sunshine,
the sun's surface, and the planet itself penetrating into the planet.
The sun's surface is the planet. That's what we are talking about. The third one is the sun god.
Oh, okay.
See, the sun is not just a ball of fire, as the scientists understand. Mm-hmm. It's a planet which has cities. It has people. It has this, and the predominating deity there is the sun god. Mm-hmm. It's not empty. Mm-hmm. It's full of people, just like this earth. Mm-hmm. You understand?
But there are different bodies.
And people, animals also. Mm-hmm. Animals, trees also. Believe it or not. Mm-hmm. But they are made of a different substance, not like the substance here, because this is earth, so the bodies are primarily made of earth substance. Mm-hmm. But there, the bodies are made of the elements that are present there, fiery bodies. Their bodies are made of fire. Mm-hmm. Right? The same substances that are there on the sun planet. Mm-hmm. Right? So according to the Vedas, there are different types of bodies. There are bodies made of fire, mm-hmm. there are bodies made of wind or air, and there are bodies made of even subtler substances, akash, and then there are bodies made of mind, intelligence. Brahma's body is made of intelligence.
What does that mean? Like, whatever he thinks he is, like, and he thought he has, he becomes that thought?
Exactly. Very much.
He doesn't have like a shape, he's just like...
He does. He has a form. He has a form, but that form is made of intelligence.
So if he thinks of like the moon, then he is like the moon. Like whatever he's thinking, he is that thing. Is that what he means?
Well, the subtler the body, the more powerful it becomes. It can change shapes. Yes, you are right. Like Brahma, it's explained in the Bhagavatam that when Brahma, from his different parts of his body, he has these different suns coming out, the rishis coming out, right? Yeah. From his four heads, the four Kumaras come out. From his intelligence, Narada comes, and from his thumb, Daksha comes, and from Bhrugustvachi, Bhrugu comes from his skin, and these different from his breath comes Vasishtha.
Planets.
Vasishtha, the sage Vasishtha.
Oh.
Pulastya comes from his ears. And all these different Prajapatis, they come from different parts of his body. How is it possible? That's because his body is not like a physical gross body like ours. Right? It's a very, very subtle body which can... And the demons actually came from his buttocks. And it said that as soon as they came, they wanted to have sex with him. They were the first gay people in the universe. And they actually attacked him. Right? And then Lord Brahma immediately surrenders to the Supreme Lord, and he thinks of Krishna, and Krishna says, you give up that body of yours. Then immediately Brahma gives up that body. And that actually means he changed his mentality. He changed his mind, so immediately his body is changed. So that's the thing. So the subtler you go, you have different types of bodies. Right? So on the sun planet, there is a sun god, Surya Dev. His name is Vivaswan. Right? You have the Surya Vansha, right?
Yeah.
The solar dynasty, the lunar dynasty. Yeah. So, who is the son of sun god? Manu, Vaivasvata Manu is the son of sun god. And his son is Ikshvaku. And from Ikshvaku Kul, Lord Ram actually appeared in that dynasty. Yeah. Right? And from the lunar dynasty appeared the Pandavas. Right? So the point is that they also are personalities, but they have a very different types of body life than ours. So the sun planet, the inner affairs of the sun planet, Prabhupada says, like you can see, the sunshine, the sun's surface, and the sun planet itself, but then and the student who can enter into the heart of the sun planet is compared to those who realize the personal features of the Supreme Absolute Truth. Right? So that means those who are studying the sunshine are compared to those who study the impersonal Brahman. You know what the impersonal Brahman is? The formless Absolute Truth. Some people, they don't worship God as a person. They worship the Nirakar, the formless. It has no form, you can't think about it, it's unmanifest, you can't describe it, it's the Absolute Truth. That's the formless, impersonal. Impersonal means not a person. The impersonal, formless aspect. They are called the impersonalists. Right?
Is that just consciousness? Like Krishna's consciousness spread everywhere? Brahman?
Yeah, existence and consciousness, but it has no form. You can't describe any much beyond that. Right. So those who worship, that's called Brahman. Brahman is the formless aspect. So those who worship the Brahman are called impersonalists, and those who meditate on the Paramatma in the heart, they are called the yogis. Right? They meditate on the Paramatma. The Paramatma has a form. They meditate on it. And then the devotees who worship Bhagavan, God as a person, and who love Him. Okay, these are the three different types of spiritualists. Now, who is the highest among the three?
Spiritualist. Devotee.
The devotee?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Which are the three again?
Yeah, I also lost track.
The impersonalists, those who meditate on the formless.
They're the lowest.
And then the yogis who meditate on the Paramatma in the heart.
And what's the last one?
And the devotees who worship Krishna.
The devotees.
The last one is you.
So what's the difference between, you said Paramatma and heart?
Yogis, they worship on the Paramatma. They
meditate
in the heart.
On the Paramatma in the heart. Now what's the difference between them and the devotees?
Yeah.
The yogis are meditating on the Paramatma, but they're not really doing service to the Paramatma, they're not loving Him. They're just meditating and appreciating Him.
So what does it mean to meditate on this Paramatma of God?
To concentrate on the Paramatma.
They just meditate, they think about it. They look at the Paramatma, they are focusing their attention inwardly on the Paramatma in the heart. But they have not yet developed love. Right? They're just appreciating. Appreciation hasn't yet turned into love. That is the stage they are in. But whereas devotees, they are actively loving Krishna. You understand? Devotees are actively loving and serving Krishna. Right? So now among these three, who is the highest?
Devotees.
Why?
Because they are doing service to God as well as loving Him.
Now this comparison is significant. There are three students. One student is studying the sunshine. One student is studying the sun planet. Another student is studying the inner affairs of the sun planet, which means who the sun god and what's happening there, and who actually can go and talk to the sun god face to face. Among these three students, who is the best?
Last one.
Who's studying the internal affairs of the sun.
Why? Why not the person who is studying sunshine?
So the person who's studying sunshine is again then that comparison you made, no? The first one, the impersonalist.
No, forget the impersonalists. We are talking about just the sun. First understand the analogy and then we'll come to the main.
It's an external feature.
Exactly. If you study the sunshine, that doesn't mean you know the sun god.
Yeah.
But if you know the sun god,
then you know the sunshine as well.
then the sunshine is included in that understanding, and the sun planet is also included.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's the innermost. Right? You cannot know the sun god without knowing sunshine. But you may know the sunshine without knowing the sun god. Correct? So these are the three different phases of understanding. Although they are all dealing with the same subject, that is the sun. They're all studying the sun, but within that there is again different categories. Similarly, all these three are studying the same subject, the absolute truth. The impersonalists, the yogis and the bhaktas, they are all dealing with the same absolute truth. But the difference is in their depth of understanding. The impersonalists are just concentrating on the formless aspect of the Supreme, the Sat aspect, the eternity aspect. The yogis are dealing with the Sat and Chit aspect, Sat and Chit. But only the devotees are dealing with the Sat, Chit and Ananda aspect, all three aspects together. Right? Because the Ananda bliss comes from love only. Right? When you have a loving relationship with Krishna, that's the cause of Ananda, happiness. Right? Because happiness is caused by love. Right? So because the devotees are having a loving relationship with Krishna, they have Ananda also. But whereas the impersonalists, since they are only concerned with the eternal, because the Brahman, he has no birth and no death. They realize that I am not the body, I am the soul. They realize that they are the soul, but they don't know that that soul is an eternal servant of Krishna. You got it? So those who are self-realized but they are not devotees, correct? In the sense that those who realize that they are soul, but they have not yet realized that they are devotees of Krishna, or eternal servants of Krishna, they have only realized the Sat feature. You know what is the Sat feature? The eternality feature. That means they know that I am never born and I never die. That they have realized. But they haven't realized that I have a loving relationship with Krishna. So therefore, the Ananda is missing. So that's a partial realization, partial self-realization the impersonalists have. But whereas the devotees, they realize that they are not body, they are soul. They also realize that the Paramatma is situated in their heart. But they also realize that Krishna is their eternal master and they have a loving relationship with Krishna. So that's the complete realization. Does it make sense?
That's a random question.
Yes.
So I know Kalki is supposed to come in Kali Yuga, but when exactly? Like
At the end of Kali Yuga.
so, like where are we right now? At the beginning?
Yeah, towards the beginning.
Okay.
432,000 years is the span of Kali Yuga, out of which we only passed 5,000 years.
How much is 14 and what?
432,000. 432,000.
432,000.
Out of which 5,000 have passed.
So it's 420.
27,000 left. 427,000 left. At the end of which Kalki is going to come.
In India already 5 or 6 people
Claim to be Kalki. but they don't match the descriptions of Kalki. Kalki is supposed to come on this big horse and with this sword, and he's going to just kill people at lightning speed.
Oh, some Muslims also say that their prophet is Kalki because he came on a sword and he started killing people.
Yeah, but then he kills everyone and starts the Satya Yuga. But the Satya Yuga hasn't started. It's getting worse and worse, right? So, I don't know if we have time. Are we done?
Probably.
So therefore, in the page, turn to page 66, and there's a verse at the top. Ete cham sakalah punsah Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyalpalam Lokam Mridayanti Yuge Yuge. This is from Bhagavatam. Can you read the translation of that verse?
Okay.
Yeah. You can do it.
All the lists of the incarnations of Godhead submitted herewith are either plenary expansions or parts of the plenary expansions of the Supreme Godhead. But Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself.
Okay. All the lists of incarnations are either parts of plenary expansion of the Supreme Lord, but Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God himself. And this is according to Bhagavatam. This is not like something which we invented, but this is according to Bhagavatam itself.
Do scriptures like the original 4 Vedas also say Krishna is like the supreme?
Yes, there is a Gopala Tapani Upanishad. It's part of the Vedas.
Part of one of the 4?
Yes, the Upanishads are part of the Vedas.
Right, yeah. They're excerpts.
Yes, so one of the Upanishads is Gopala Tapani, which also talks about that. Right? And in many Upanishads, like Isa Upanishad also says The first and most important Upanishad is Isopanishad. Prabhupada translated that. And there it says, Hiranmayana Patrena Satyasyapahitam Mukham. He says that, the impersonal Brahman effulgence is actually covering your real face. So please remove that effulgence so that I can see your face, your personality. So there the personality is described. And even in the Rig Veda, the Purusha Sukta, it says, what is that? Om tad Vishnoh paramam padam sada pasyanti surayah divi vichakshradam. And then there are many verses which actually mean that Lord Vishnu or Krishna is beyond the Brahma Jyoti, beyond the impersonal Brahman. Right. So there are several quotations from the Puranas. Okay, we'll just read one more translation. Klaibyam masmagamah partha
Klaibyam masmagamah partha
Naitatvayupapadyate Shudram hridaya daurbalyam Tyaktvatishta parantapa.
O son of Pritha, do not yield to this degrading impotence. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of the enemy.
Yes. Degrading impotence. Show such weakness of heart. What?
Who's Partha? Son?
Partha is
Arjuna.
the son of Pritha. Pritha's son is Partha. And Pritha is the name of Kunti. So Partha is Arjuna. Or it can also refer to any one of the Pandavas. But here he is specifically talking to Arjuna. Kaunteya also means the same thing. Right? Read the purport also.
Arjuna was addressed to the son of Pritha, who happened to be the sister of Krishna's father Vasudev. Therefore, Arjuna had a blood relationship with Krishna. If the son of a Kshatriya declines to fight, he is a Kshatriya in name only, and if the son of a Brahmana acts impiously, he is a Brahmana in name only. Such Kshatriyas and Brahmanas are unworthy sons of their fathers. Therefore, Krishna did not want Arjuna to become an unworthy son of a Kshatriya. Arjuna was the most intimate friend of Krishna, and Krishna was directly guiding him on the chariot. But in spite of all these credits, if Arjuna abandoned the battle, he would be committing an infamous act. Therefore, Krishna said that such an attitude in Arjuna did not fit his personality. Arjuna might argue that he would give up the battle on the grounds of his magnanimous attitude for the most respectable Bhishma and his relatives, but Krishna considered that sort of magnanimity mere weakness of heart. Such false magnanimity was not approved by any authority. Therefore, such magnanimity or so-called non-violence should be given up by persons like Arjuna under the direct guidance of Krishna.
So, those who are born in a Brahmin family, but they do not have the qualifications or qualities of Brahmana, they are called Brahma Bandhus. They are not Brahmanas, but they are Brahma Bandhus. Right? Similarly, those who are born in a Kshatriya family, but they do not have the qualities of Kshatriyas, are called Kshatra Bandhus. They are not Kshatriyas. Right? So Arjuna was the intimate friend of Krishna, and Krishna was directly guiding him, right? And he also has a great lineage from his mother's and father's side. So if he didn't fight, then that will be an infamous act. That will bring ill repute to all these people, right? So Arjuna might argue that he is very magnanimous. He doesn't want to kill the relatives, right? But Krishna says that's not magnanimity, that's weakness of heart. Right? So the point is that what is generally known to be good may be bad if that's not pleasing to Krishna. Right? And what's generally seen as bad may be good if it's pleasing to Krishna. Right? Like many people ask, why did Krishna induce this battle where so many people were killed? Right? If he wanted, he could have stopped it. But that was required, for the purification of these people who were killed. And also, he wanted to set the right example, that if you do the wrong thing, you will be punished. Right? So the point is that the Buddhists and Jains, right? The Buddhists and Jains, they actually say that we are not supposed to, the Jains, they don't even eat potatoes,
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Any root vegetables.
Any root vegetables.
yeah,
Something under the ground.
Because you
You
have
know
to kill it.
Because they have bacteria, they're infected.
And you also have to kill the plant when you.
You have to also,
yeah, right. So they take non-violence to an extreme degree, right? And some of the Jains also put some cloth around their
Yeah.
nose and mouth, so that when they breathe, they don't kill insects.
Yeah.
Why is that extreme? Like,
Yes, it is
Why?
extreme because even if you want to stay alive, you're walking, you're killing so many. Even though you put a cloth, you still kill so many living entities.
No, even when you
Even
walk
while you're-
outside, you won't be stepping on insects.
But that's good, no?
but like, don't devotees try to like kill less? Like, we don't eat like.
Right, and
animals and-
I'm not finished.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the point is that to eat food, for example, you have to light fire, and when you light fire, a lot of living entities are killed. Right? Therefore, there is this Panchasuna Yajna, which in the way practitioners of Vedic, the way followers of Vedas, they're supposed to do, to atone for 5 different killings. One is whenever you light a fire, there is naturally many living entities are going to die.
Yeah.
So you can't eat food without lighting fire. Right? And when you clean your house, you sweep, you kill so many living entities. So there are 5 different activities which you do in your day-to-day life, each of which involves killing, without which you can't even live properly. So to atone for those killings, you have to perform 5 different yajnas. By performing those yajnas, you get free from the sins of those 5 different killings which you do. Right? So you cannot live without killing. But the thing is, we want to minimize the amount of violence. Right? You want to minimize the amount of violence, and there's a difference between the type of violence when you kill a plant and when you kill an animal.
Yeah. Plant has less consciousness.
Yes, the amount of pain you give to a less developed creature is less than a more developed creature in terms of consciousness. A creature which has more evolved consciousness feels pain more acutely than one which has less, which is lower on the evolutionary scale. So bacteria and all, they do feel pain, but it's very, very, very minimal as compared to like a cow or a goat or something, right?
The question, like, why is it considered sinful to like kill bacteria, or like when you're cooking and stuff? Like, if none of those things are their bodies, then why is it considered sinful to kill them, to like rid them of their body?
Yeah. Okay. Rid them of the body has to be authorized. You have no right to rid anyone of their bodies, although they are not the bodies, but it still pains, right? We have no right to give pain to any living entity unless it is part of your service, unless it is your prescribed duty. You have no right to kill anyone.
Okay.
That's the point. But if it's part of your prescribed duty, then that killing is actually is beneficial to that soul also, to that person who is killed, to that living entity which is killed. Right? So when you offer the food to Krishna, what happens is those plants and vegetables which are used for the offering, they also get spiritual benefit. Those flowers which you pluck and make garlands, those plants get spiritual benefit also. But whereas in the original Vedic culture, even the animals were sacrificed. Right? But that was not considered sinful because those animals were getting a higher birth. Right?
So
But now, because there is no qualified Brahmana who can actually chant mantras so purely, that is forbidden in the age of Kali. But whereas in the previous ages, even that was done and that was still not sinful. So the point here is that, we have to, non-violence is important, but more important than non-violence is obedience to Krishna. That's the point here. Non-violence in and of itself is not the highest dharma. Ahimsa is upadharma, not paradharma. The paradharma is bhakti. That means the supreme dharma is bhakti. Whereas ahimsa or non-violence is one of the corollary dharmas. Right? But when you take a corollary upadharma and place it as the paradharma, as the supreme dharma, That's where the problem arises. Because even the Buddhists and Jains, even despite all their claims of non-violence, they're still being violent.
Yeah, because they have to
Like
build the home.
there was this temple of Swetambar Jains that was being built. You know, the people who put that mask for this thing, and one devotee was having a debate. But you build this temple, and to build this temple, you had to cut all the grasses and all the trees over there.
That's true.
So, what kind of non-violence are you talking about? So, in the absolute sense, you can never be non-violent, but we can discriminate what kind of violence is permissible, what kind of violence is not. Right. So that's the. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki,
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki. Thank you. Okay, here's an important announcement. Tomorrow there's a movie being played. This movie is the Hare Krishna movie. It's actually it's very nice, and that's all I can say because I haven't seen it also. I'm going to see it tomorrow. It's at 3:00 tomorrow. You know the place, that Boulevard, what I keep forgetting it.
I'm not sure. I've already seen the movie though.
Okay, but you get it. Tickets for only $5.
Oh, okay.
You want to watch it again?
It's a really nice movie though.